Renovating Retirement with Charlie Jewett. Oh no, I think I'm about to have another episode.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 112 of the Renovating Retirement podcast. Today's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be interviewing Chris Prefontaine, a friend of mine, a mentor of mine, someone I've learned a ton from in the real estate investment industry. Most of the investments that I offer are passive. You're going to give money to some company and then wait and see what happens. Yes, they're beating the stock market. Yes, some have no fees. All have very low fees. They come with all kinds of bells and whistles and are better than just using mutual funds, but you don't get a lot of control. You can't go out and make it grow. Whereas real estate investing, when done properly, is something that you control. It's something you can get good at or build a good team or hire a good mentor and then have control over how much money you're making. Chris is going to teach you how in his system you can make 40, 50, 60, I think the average is $75,000 per deal. So very much worth listening to. This is somebody that I listen to and learn from and follow. I'm going to his events. I'm taking his training. I was on his show and now he's on my show. Without further ado, here's Chris Prefontaine, the smart real estate coach. Chris, I'm so glad you're on the show. This is Chris Prefontaine, real estate superstar. I don't know if that's the title you go by, but that's what I'm going to call you. Okay,
go for it.
Whatever you want, right?
Yep.
So I'm excited about this because I don't know, I have some background in real estate investing, but I don't consider myself a real estate investor. I just caught a wave when things were appreciating like crazy, and I took some chances. You know what I mean?
You got in the way.
Yeah, I got in the way, and it just carried me. So I'm so psyched about the things I'm learning from you and your upcoming events and our friendship, because you really know how to do this, how to go out and make it rain, right? So there's a difference between sitting there hoping an animal comes by and then you get to eat that night, or going out and hunting and finding it and then your family can eat, right?
Well, yeah, plus still hunting. I think that's important. I don't know if you and I talked about it when you were on my show, but the fact is it's just a whole bunch of people selling stuff out there. They're not doing it. They're not hunting, then, to use your analogy. And
I'm assuming that this is very much like there's a whole industry in my neck of the woods, or kind of in my industry, where you can pay coaches to teach you how to day trade or trade foreign currencies and all this kind of stuff. And as I looked into them, I found out none of them were actually doing it. They wouldn't send me their bank statements showing they're making any money. They're just charging $10,000 a year to tell you strategies. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Same thing in the real estate, right?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And the people I have on my show, that I don't think, without exception, the people that we've had on the show have said the same thing. That kind of, I use the word disgusted, because they just say, man, unfortunately, by the time I get some people, they've spent mentally and financially and don't want to go further, and others break through that and have a great experience. But man, it's disheartening to see that. So yeah, you want to make sure you're with someone in the trenches.
So the audience that listens to my show, for the most part, the audience is looking forward to retirement. That they're using the content that I'm teaching to avoid the bad guys, to avoid all the lies and scams in the retirement planning industry, create the wealth they need to get to and through retirement. And most of retirement planning and the stuff that I'm teaching, annuities, life insurance, why the market's why it's not really necessary right now, because it's not paying enough. For more risk, you're not getting more reward. All that's pretty passive. Like, those are true investments where you put money in and just wait and see what happens. But what you've got is something where people can have some more control, where they can actually take not even their money, even though most of my people have saved up some money. They can take having no money, just their time, intelligence, and your help, and they can go out and make 3 different types of revenue, right?
Yeah, 3 different types, 3 different paydays that I call it in my book on each deal. And so there's a couple things you said that were key, that you and I are in sync on. I know the residual nature, the control. Because let's say, let me flip the coins here. Let me say someone's going to go out and they're going to do wholesaling in the real estate world, or rehabbing. Well, if you get people that are looking to slow down, or not just slow down, but be passive, man, that's a job. You got to do a deal, and then you got to do another deal to get a check.
Yep.
The way we do it, we control the property, and we create those 3 paydays. Well, one is like cash now. Okay, thank you. One is cash every single month. So that gives them the sense of, all right, that's neat. I got a residual stream going. And then one is kind of like that nice, big, juicy cash out. So you could literally put, I'm just going to use a number of 12 deals on your books over the next 6 months, 12 months, however long it takes. But know now that you have cash flow and scheduled cash flow for the next 1 to 3 to 4 years. That's pretty neat. And you can, there's no stopping that scalability.
And I'm sure this can help everybody, but the person that's coming to mind for me right now is the person that I can't help. I can't help somebody unless they saved up the money, because my job is tell them what to do with the money they've saved to turn into lifetimes of income to cover long life, short life, rough life, sick life, and the next life. You actually can help the people that I have to turn away. Like say somebody comes in and they're like, I was undisciplined. I didn't do the saving I needed to do. I have to work till I'm 90, right? But you can help them.
I can. You said two cool things there, Charlie. Because let's take that first person. You said, "Yep, throw them our way. Let us show them how to create some serious cash, and then you show them how to protect it and sock it away in the best way." And instead of going through the myriad of things you do, they know what you do. That's awesome. And then how about the people that when I finally got my legs after the 2008 debacle, what did I do? I plowed cash into the very product that you go out and teach people to do, because it's a smart thing to do. So the people that already have done that and they're looking for a nice business, but without the huge price tag of a franchise, they can essentially get in the trenches with us and start creating, fast or slow, it doesn't matter, we'll go at their pace, these deals wherever they exist geographically.
That's exciting, man. I know people like to look up who the speakers are while they're listening and everything. So right here in the beginning of the podcast, why don't you tell people the name of your company, your name, where they can find you if they're wanting to look you up while they're listening.
Sure. So it's Chris Prefontaine. We operate a family company, and we're based out of Newport, Rhode Island. We buy and sell properties every single week. So we're in the trenches, as Charlie and I said, we're so important in the New England area. And then we have students. We call them associates because we lock arms with these people and we do deals with them all over the country, probably in 25 different states right now. The website is smartrealestatecoach.com. And then we had lucky enough to have Charlie on our show, and that's smartrealestatecoachpodcast.com.
Now, I've heard you sometimes shorten your last name, just go by Chris Pre. Is that like your fighter name? Are you in the UFC or anything?
No, it's just easier. And it's not a super great movie, but there's a famous run out of Oregon that was killed in the 70s, and he has a movie and a couple books, and it's just called P-R-E.
I don't know if I should do that. Should I change my name to Charlie Jew?
No one has a syllable too.
I don't know if it has the same ring as Chris Pre. I like yours better. Well, that's good, man. You don't know this about me, but I used to get my business. So the clients came to me from these giant real estate trainings that they'd hold in stadiums. If you remember what I'm talking about, people would travel around.
I sure do.
They'd have some stock software and then a real estate speaker, and they'd sell these big packages. And I saw probably 100 to 200 people in a year's time that bought things that cost anywhere from $12,000 to $30,000 for some sort of mentoring or help or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I can tell you, I met one person that may have actually applied some of that and had some success, but every other person said they were just inundated with books and videos, and it wasn't working for them. And it felt like the perfect racket to me, because they'd call up the mentor or whoever they bought the stuff from and say it's not working, and they would just make them feel like they weren't doing it right. So like, how perfect. You just get 30 grand from somebody, and when it doesn't work, tell them it's their fault.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on, unfortunately. Let me give you a specific example. I was general at the beginning, but since you brought that up again, it's worth kind of putting a nail on it. We have a gentleman out of Pennsylvania, and it's in writing on my site, so I'm not talking, for privacy reasons that he wouldn't want to say. He wrote about it on my site, and he said in his review that he had spent a year or more in about six figures, $100,000 in different, not one, training programs, and here's the punchline, didn't do a deal. To that, I just shake my head and say, I don't understand. Like, what is so logical about sticking around with something or someone that's not producing deals? So long story short, his wife, who now we chuckle about this, but his wife said to him, you're not going to this guy. You're not calling this smart real estate coach because, look at the track record so far. Well, he bit the bullet and he came to us for some consulting. He's approaching $750,000 with us in actual income. I'm not saying that's the norm for everyone. Please don't misunderstand, but I am saying he had that experience after a dismal experience. And so it exists too often, and we get those calls a lot.
Jeepers creepers. I did an episode recently. It was going to be called the Uber Retirement Principle, but I ended up calling it, I think, Americans don't work long enough or something like that. But basically, I was just showing if you can get a part-time job making $500 to $1,000 a week doing something you like, you can quit the job you hate, and it's like you saved another $300,000 or $400,000 in retirement accounts to create that income, so people don't have to work as long as they thought they did. if we add this tool, if we add your team and your tool to this model, and my model is this. My model is in case accounts, income accounts, increase accounts. So when somebody comes to me and says, here's the money I have, I'm saying, all right, first and foremost, we got to pick your emergency fund. How much do you want in an emergency fund? Somebody picks up your car, throws it through your roof, got to replace both of them. So I end up with people with maybe $100,000 in emergency funds, and then show them where to put it, where they make, stock-like returns instead of the bank, right? Then, most important piece, we go to income. How do we solve for income? For me, usually that's some sort of an annuity so we can guarantee it. The money that's left over before I had you in my life, the money that's left over, I'm just looking at, increase accounts. It's growth. Where are we going to put it? We're going to put it in growth annuities. We're going to put it in life insurance. We're going to put it in the stock market. Well, this opens up a whole new world of opportunity for my clients because, you've got everything from free, right, that we're going to talk about and give some stuff away for free, all the way up to people can pay to basically be your partner, right? Can't they take some of the money that they have left over for growth and hire you guys as an investment, right?
Yeah, some people take it. I say some. I bet you, if I look at my whiteboard next to me, we have around 30, if not 40% of the clients that have come in as associates. They're serious, they're aggressive, they want to do some serious deals. Keeping in mind, when I said 75 grand a deal on average, you're talking about serious money if and when you want to apply this thing aggressively. So some of those people, 30 or 40% of them, they've done it. They've just taken a loan, or some of them a distribution because they can write off the expense out of their 401k or IRA. So in your case, man, it's a lot better because you set it up properly. They can actually do that.
I like the write off the expense piece. Tell me a little bit more about that. Is that something that your CPA taught you, or their CPAs, or you came up with, or what's going on there?
Well, look, any education expense, and it maybe changed a little bit with the recent tax law, so I don't want to date myself or pretend to be an accountant. I'm not, but obviously it's an expense in your company. So whether you're taking a loan out of a policy, or whether you're taking a loan out of a retirement account, or whether you're taking early distribution, even if there is a small penalty, you do have that write-off that year you did it.
In some sense, we're saying I spent money to go make an investment that then has capital gains, and I'm going to pay taxes on those, and that may be a deduction, right? We can talk to everybody's CPA as we work with them, but some people have been able to write it off, it sounds like, right?
Oh, yeah. Any expense for the education is a write-off.
That's also an interesting idea. Somebody that's feeling like they're behind on retirement, and they have a lot of money in a 401k or a TSP, and I'm not allowed to move it yet because they have to be 59 and a half or quit the job before I can do anything for them, no matter how many cool strategies I have for them. But they might be able to borrow against it, hire you guys, and start cranking and learning on the real estate, and then really supercharge the retirement.
Well, I can go one step further. The answer is absolutely yes. But we had a closing 2 weeks ago, so it's fresh on the brain. We had our IRA, self-directed IRA, redirect, direction of letter of direction of investment, a whopping $1,000 to start an LLC. So now my IRA for my wife and I own the LLC. The LLC then goes and does what? The deals we do, the types of deals we do. So we just closed on a deal where in July of 16, we put a whopping $500 deposit down on this deal. It happens to be a 6-unit. I do mostly singles. This was a 6-unit. And without getting into the intricacies of the deal, we closed it not even 2 weeks ago, and $116,000 was on the HUD-1 settlement statement, and that went straight to my IRA, tax-free. So 500 in, 116 grand back, 2 years almost to the day. That's pretty cool tax-free money. That's
really cool tax-free money. And actually, we do a lot of Roth conversions in my world. So if somebody has I don't know how much money, but somebody has a $200,000 IRA, and we do a Roth conversion over a couple of years, and then they're doing real estate deals inside of the Roth IRA.
There you go.
My CPA says all the capital gains are tax-free, all the rents are tax-free if you were renting it. But if you got 3 paydays and all of them are tax-free, putting people in control. See, here's the thing. In the retirement world, no one really gets a lot of control. They can't just focus really hard and make these annuities or life insurance or stock market go the direction they want, right? You're actually teaching people hunting. Like I used that example earlier. You're teaching people how to go out and make it rain, and they're the ones, and tell me if I'm wrong, but they're the ones who decide to, put twice as much time into it this week as last week if they've got a trip coming up and they want some extra money, or there's some control that I'm not able to offer people with my other stuff.
Well, yeah, they have control, and they have the flexibility to design the lifestyle that you just worked into that comment. Because think about it. I've got a simple chart, and by the way, I'll give everyone this if they just somehow you give them a way to get to me in the show notes or whatever. But I have a 3-year $1 million business plan. It means that you go at this not even obnoxiously, just pretty conservatively, the way I've sketched it out. By year 3, you're doing $1 million, and you're sustaining $1 million even if you don't want to scale it. And at any point, if you think of this, if you put 18 deals in your inventory, I'll just call it inventory, or in the hopper, so to speak, you could literally take 2 months, a month, 6 months, a year off, because you have that predictable cash flow. And then whenever you want to come back and re-engage and put some more deals together, they're fun. They're not, I'm not going to say easy, but they're simple. That's what you can do. So you can absolutely design a lifestyle around this that makes sense to you. I said to you, we're a family company. I mean, we're all here all the time. My grandson, who's only 8 months old, was here just a minute ago. He just left. I mean, this is all hands on, but we have fun doing what we do.
That's awesome. For now, let's do this, because I have the most inconsistent show notes in the industry. Let's just have people email me if they want that piece of information, right? And tell me
That's
again.
perfect.
What are you going to give them? What are you going to give
them? Just call it a 3-year, $1 million plan.
Okay, so if you guys want the 3-year, $1 million plan, just email me, charlie@jewettwealth.com, CHARLIE @JEWETTwealth.com. Just say I want Chris's plan, and then I'll get it from Chris, have him send it to you, or send it to you. We'll just work it out that way. Awesome. And that'll be kind of cool too, to see the feedback and who's listening, who's asking.
Yeah.
When I did real estate, it was capital intensive. You know, the way I was doing it, I had to close on the properties, get loans, make down payments, whatever. I've looked at other strategies that are more, finding motivated sellers and flips and things like that sound great, or don't have a lot of money out of pocket, but it felt like everyone's looking for that, and there's not that many of them, and they're hard to find. How hard is it to find these deals that you're doing? And then let's talk a little bit about what it means to buy on terms, but how hard is it to find these?
Okay, it's not hard to find them, right? So our system teaches exactly how to find them. That's not the challenge, or the difficult part. The more difficult part is, unlike wholesaling and unlike rehabbing, which you are 100% correct, is very, very competitive. Smaller, I won't say small. Some people do some decent amounts in wholesaling, but smaller checks. And remember the third piece, no residual. They got to do it again and again and again. So with ours, you don't have, 15,000 TV shows coming out. So the competition is less. I'll give you a great example. I always try to give you examples, not just theory. So my son, Nick, and my son-in-law, Zach, went to a mastermind recently. It was a gentleman who trains, one of the best in my opinion, trains real estate investors. But the room was about, I forget how many people, I think they said 100 or more. And the room they were the only ones in the room that weren't doing wholesaling and rehabbing. So that, I think, answers your question. They were, even the wholesalers and rehabbers, the big ones, said, wow, this concept is cool. Now, we didn't invent this. This stuff's been around for decades before you and I, Charlie. The only difference is we've wrapped a system around it and wrapped some predictability around it and wrapped a little bit of a cash out wealth plan around it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm psyched for me, because I actually enjoy real estate. I enjoy what it can do. I know you can create wealth with it, but I didn't have a good experience. So I took a big, long break, and now I'm re-excited again. I'm going to go to your upcoming event. You've got an event coming up next month, right?
Yeah, almost next month, September. So in a few days, we can say next month. And it's here in the Newport, Rhode Island area. And I know in the winter, you guys listening probably don't want to come up here or over here, but it's a phenomenal time to be here in September, because the tourists are gone. It's not too hot. The water's still warm, and the event's less than a mile from the beach, from 2 beaches.
Oh, man, that sounds awesome. So let's say, and we can keep talking. You got time, right?
Yep.
Let's say somebody wants to or needs to retire. Their body's given out, their mind's given out, they're just done, or they're fine, but they just don't want to do it anymore, right? They're tired of the job they're doing. And they've got, enough money to live for like 3-4 years. That's not a retirement. When I look at money, I have to say, well, how much can they live off of? Maybe 4 or 5% of their account. And that's not going to be a very high income. But if they have enough to live 3-4 years, and they come to you and say, in the next 3 or 4 years, I need to learn how to sustain myself with this real estate. I need to build a new business. Where do you tell them to start?
Well, okay, so real simple. I think you and I were chit-chatting before the show. We don't have a complicated system or protocol or funnel, as they call it in the industry, because I want people doing deals, not buying stuff that doesn't do anything. So here's the deal. The people just need to go to, or if they want to go listen to me, if they can put up with it for another 60 minutes, they can watch my free webinar. So it's not going to cost them a dime. Why? I want you to kind of glean a bunch of content and see if you say at the end of that 60 minutes, I think this is something I would want to dip my toe in the water. I think this is a niche I like. I think this is a family that I think I could go ahead and listen to, because I'm not so naive to think everyone can relate to every mentor. So if it does fit you, great. Then there's a home study video program offered at the end of the webinar. It's at the very end. So the whole time you're going to get content. I'm not big on anything but content. And then here's the punchline. The event you mentioned, if they want to try the course before the event's free. If they say, okay, I see the course, but I'm not quite ready yet, I do want to go check these guys out in person, hear the associates from around the country that are doing deals, see the family, great, then just buy a ticket. It's less than $500. Just buy a ticket. It's not free. It's free with the course, but buy a ticket and come. And like you said, Charlie, you'll be there so they can relate to some of the stuff that you and I will be talking about, as well as the real estate stuff, and then meet some phenomenal people. Look, we're going to have Dr. Joe Vitale, Ed Rush, Shiloh Harris. Google Shiloh Harris and check out his background, or just go to our website and check out the 2018 live QLS, and you'll see some amazing speakers. So if you leave going, hey, that was cool, I don't want to do real estate, but you'll get something out of these speakers. I guarantee you that.
And it's actually, I didn't think of it until just now, but actually pretty cool for me to be at your event and then meet somebody else that's there because they heard this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun. Like, I was listening to your podcast and I heard this guy, and now I'm meeting you here. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yep.
So yeah, come on out to the event, meet me, meet Chris, meet all these other guys that he's bringing that are superstars. I'm excited, Chris. I really am excited. I'm, that course is not expensive. I have that course of yours. And, as I've been going through that, I'm like, wait a minute, this guy's showing us how to make $75,000 a deal. Say we totally blow it and we're only making $30,000 a deal, right?
Right. Well,
the course didn't cost anywhere close to that.
Yeah, most people, Charlie, I think you know this because you tinker around enough in the industry and in your own industry. Most people would say, and I've had mentors criticize me because of it, most people say, take that course, has 60 plus videos as you see because you're in it, and take that course and carve it up, and you could make $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 courses. I know that. But then guess what? People are going to go off, and that big gap that exists in the industry that I didn't mention yet, which is the implementation piece, is going to still be there. And so what we offer is that implementation piece so we can help you actually get deals done.
That's awesome. And that it sounds like your heart, and I understand that. Like, there's things that we do, people of integrity do because of a passion and a heart. We know there's a more profitable way to do it. I know that offering all of the information on all the hidden stuff and all the scams in the retirement planning industry is not the most profitable thing I could do. I should be joining those guys, telling everybody to buy mutual funds and making my 1% and playing on the golf course. But it's not about finding the most profitable path to me. I'm angry. I'm ticked off that the industry's hurting people, and there's that void, and you're handling another void and offering people what they need at a price they can afford and make it back really quick.
Well, it's how we got here, if you remember. So you and I were chit-chatting prior to my show, and a lot of our philosophies, a lot of our moral and ethical things line up, and that's how we got here. So it's not just in our coaching business. If you guys who are listening go on and Google some real estate mentors, and it's not important for me to mention their name, but they're out there and they're publicly on YouTube and other channels, so I'm not talking out of school, and they will say on there, okay, in the terms business, they might not use that word, but they'll say in the rent-to-own world, because that's how we sell. I don't care if my buyer ever gets financing, because I'll just sell the house again and go ahead and collect another deposit. Well, yeah. That's great, but morally and ethically, you got to go to bed at night knowing that you're setting people up to fail. Our system's the complete opposite. It's the complete flip. We have a system whereby, if you're my buyer, you're coming through a process that tells me you're going to have a mortgage-ready plan. Here's the date you're going to be mortgage-ready. Here's the game plan to get you there. And if you don't, you're not getting accepted for the house, period. So it's important that little piece you said is just kind of rolls through all of our businesses.
And I'm really glad you said that. People don't know this. We didn't script out our phone call or create an outline. We're just having a conversation here for the benefit of the listeners. I'm glad you brought that up, because some of the real estate strategies that I've studied, especially when you're looking for a motivated seller, I'm not morally comfortable making the offers they tell me to make, because if I put myself in the other person's shoes, I'm not doing unto others. I'm not treating them the way I'd want to be treated. And I feel like I'm trying to steal from them or rip them off or pay them less than the home's worth. And that's an awkward place to be.
Yeah, we get that comment. So when we're calling, they'll say, are you trying to lowball? And it's a phenomenal conversation, because the answer is, well, actually, no, we actually can pay you full market value. And in some of our structures, i.e. owner financing, if the term is right, we can actually pay you a premium for your property. Well, that's a different conversation.
See, that's a lot of fun. I remember one time, there's a band here in California, and I know one of the members. My daughter grew up with his daughter. The band's called Switchfoot. You guys ever heard of Switchfoot?
No, but I'm not. I'm not the one to ask.
Yeah. Well, anyway, switch. But one time they had some extra tickets, and they offered them to me. Said, do you know anybody that wants to go? And there were more tickets than I could even use myself, right? So, Chris, I remember making these phone calls to people that I knew, giving away tickets to a band that they know and want to see. And I'm like, why isn't sales like this? Why does sales or prospecting, why doesn't it feel like this? Why does it feel so icky and like cold calling and all that kind of stuff? And it sounds like your version of this may be more like that. Like you're actually calling them with good news and just saying, would you like free tickets to a concert, or would you like it full price for your house? Is it kind of like that?
It's always like that. So no matter what, we're paying full market value or premium. Always. Unless,
Awesome.
look, there's exceptions, right? Someone calls and says, I'm going to give you one that comes to mind, but because they asked for it. They call and they say, hey, I got to leave. I've had these. I've got to leave. I'm leaving Monday. This is like a Friday. I owe X. The house is maybe worth a teeny bit more. If you can just take care of my debt. In other words, they want out of debt. And so if that's their problem and that's what they want, then sure, I'll take it over for what's owed or whatever it might be. But those are exceptions. Those are not the norm. The norm is sellers want top dollar, and that's why they go to us.
That's awesome. So we've got the free webinar. We've got the course that costs, almost nothing. Or should I say almost nothing? It's incredibly reasonable, right? And has 60 videos, teaches you how to make, deals that do, tens and tens of thousands per deal with 3 paydays. We've got the event coming up that's either free if they buy the course, or what'd you say, $500 to attend a two.
That's like $497 if they want to come. Now, if they buy the ticket, by the way, Charlie, because they weren't sure yet, and they just want to dip their toe and come see us all, which I appreciate and respect. If they thought they had a rotten 2 days, all they got to do is come up at the end and tell us they had a rotten 2 days, and they don't think it's for them, and we'll give them their money back. So I mean, it's no risk.
Awesome. So you've got the Tony Robbins irresistible offer going on, right? Like
well, I want people there that want to be there, and then I want people leaving there doing deals. And if not, here's your money.
That's beautiful. So I'll be there. Come meet me. I also want people to know this, because I think real estate courses and mentors feels so much to me like you have to do everything on your own. It's just you study the stuff, you go try stuff. I was watching one of your videos. You've actually got people sending you in the recordings of them talking to sellers, and I mean, you're actually working with them and listening to them and giving them hands-on coaching?
It goes even deeper than that. So yes, that's one of many things we do. So if you're in a single party state where you can record without consent, or if you're in a dual party and you want to ask for consent, but that gets tough, then yes, you'll record your live calls and then we'll critique it. So then your very next call on the phone, you just took away the learning curve. You shortened it dramatically, but that's not where it stops. So even today, as of the day you got me on the show here, we have a gentleman that's one of our associates, and he did the initial call, sent it to me for critique, and then said, hey, this gentleman wants to speak with us. Can you get on the phone with us? Sure. So I'm on the phone today with him listening with his seller, and we wrapped up what was the second call essentially, but I did all the talking, and then we got him the appointment to go see the house. So we're doing calls with buyers, with sellers, depending on who it is on our family team that specializes in that area or that expertise, but we're in the trenches with them getting these deals done because we're essentially partnering on all the deals.
That's incredible, man. And it's not, I mean, you guys, this is what you do for a living, right? You're partnering, so you're making money. You're in it for helping people, and it's part of your business. They're making money. Basically, while they learn from a master, they're making money.
Yeah, because that's the best way, in my opinion. It's the I may have said it when you were on my show, but and this might be getting old. I got to think of a better example. But when we were in, because you go to Hawaii, I'll use this. We went to Hawaii with the kids back in, I think it was 04, 05, so a little bit dated. But we took surfing lessons. Now, I couldn't surf now to save my life, but I remember specifically, and this is in one of my webinars, that they stick you on the beach with the surfboard, and so you're on the surfboard, but you're on the beach, and they show you how to, okay, now get on your knees, now stand up. No, they give you the whole thing. That's great. That's like going through a boot camp that people pay $5 or $10,000 for, and then they go, okay, go in the water, and then I come out with bloody knees. Well, if you come out with bloody knees in real estate, it's expensive.
Yep.
Better to have someone with you.
And I'll make this the last thing, I promise, and then we'll wrap it up. Tell everybody where to find all these things. You also have people come out to your office, right? Meet you guys and see what you're doing. Is that still part of the plan?
Yep. So as an associate, there's a whole bunch of stuff, but off the top of my head, you get a 2-day visit here. So day one, to make a long story short, you are sitting with each one of us in our regular roles. It's no glitz and glamour. You're actually just seeing what we do, and you're taking notes, and we are having some Q&A with you during lunch and things like that. Take you to dinner the first night. Second day, you're on the road with my son-in-law, Zach, actually going to his seller appointments, and you're flying the wall doing that as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty hands-on. And then they have a mastermind the day before the event. They all come to. These are all part of. It's not in addition to. And then we talk every Thursday, literally every Thursday. And you'll be on that call soon with us, helping us out on your end of things. And so that's just all the stuff that comes with it for the glue to get everybody doing deals.
You hear me talk about Tony Robbins a lot just because he's been a huge part of my life over the last 20, 30 years. You're actually offering as a service, like people can actually buy what he tells people to do. And I know you believe this because I saw it on the videos. When you want to be good at something, find somebody who's the best at it or doing it at a high level and go ask them how they did it. Well, and this is a step up from that. I'm not asking you how you did it. You're going to take them out on the road, right? Zach's going to take them out. They get the 60 videos, got conferences every year. You basically, we get to be friends with you, right? In a professional relationship, we get to be friends with you and learn from you.
Yeah, we you bring up another interesting point because we have gotten, the community is pretty tight. It's a great group. And I had a guy the other day looking into our information, and he was looking at really getting aggressive with this. So he said, do you mind if I call 2 or 3 of your people? I said, sure, just respect their time. I'll give you the numbers. I don't care what you say to them, what they say to you, but please respect their time. I said, okay. So he hits me back and he said, Chris, he hit me on our platform. We have a Slack private channel. And he said, Chris, I was actually looking for reasons to not do it. He's out in Colorado. And he said, I can't believe the community. He says, I don't know what you're feeding these guys, but they are so tight and it's like a family. Every single person was the same way. He said, no fluff. And that's the nature of our group. So all that to say, when someone applies to be an associate, they go through the course, they love it, and they go, oh, what do? I want to do deals. They can apply. It's by application only. And then they're going to get a call from myself, my son-in-law, my son, and my daughter, because we want to make sure that it's a fit for the community. And sometimes we'll have them even talk to one of the partners that have been around for a year or so, again, so that we add a great person to the team, so to speak, around the country.
Well, it sounds like you're creating raving fans, which means you've got a good offering.
Yeah, it's fun. But when things are working the way it's supposed to, it's fun, right?
And that's also important to me because the thing I don't want people doing is retiring, sitting on the couch watching soap operas, and they just die 5, 6 years later. You know what I mean? You need to stay active and use your brain and get out there and do stuff. This is a perfect business to be doing because it's fun, it's social. You're out and about. You're up. You're not. This is the opposite of sitting on the couch watching soap operas. Yeah,
and the reason I think it's cool that you and I are doing this and continuing to connect is they do go hand in hand. I mean, what we both do is so complementary. Everyone can just wrap their arms around both systems and really have a good experience over the course of the next 3 to 5 years, and then obviously beyond. But it's a really cool setup.
Man, if you're making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a deal and not having to put it into the next deal, you certainly need to have somebody tell you what to do with the money.
Absolutely, absolutely, win-win.
All right, cool. So we got the 3-year plan you mentioned, right, where people can tell about that again. I'll tell them my email address.
Sure. So just when you email Charlie, just put in the subject line 3-year, $1 million plan, and you'll get that. It's just graphed out, charted out for 3 years. Gives you kind of a foundation, if you will. If you weren't talking to me yet or you hadn't gotten hold of our info yet, you'll get a good idea. It will give you the big picture. And it's not a pie in the sky. It's very conservative, actually. You can and should beat it. And then all the other stuff, Charlie, instead of giving them too much, is they can just go to smartrealestatecoach.com. The webinar free registration's there. The event is there. Everything's there. They can find stuff there, and they can contact me there if they need me.
You get the free webinars there. The course is there. The video course with the 60 videos, right? The QLS videos.
Yep.
And then the QLS live conference is there too, right?
Yep.
All right, so email me, guys, charlie@jewettwealth.com, CHARLIE@JEWETTwealth.com for that 3-year plan, which is how to make $1 million in 3 years, right?
That's it. And then sustain it. So it's $1 million business sustainable after the 3rd year.
Okay, guys, I don't have any investment that's going to make you $1 million in 3 years besides Chris Pre. This is the best investment we've found in my entire career. So just get in touch, charlie@jewettwealth.com. This is Chris. You'll hear more from him. I hope to see you at his event in September. We'll certainly be talking more after that about what I've learned and having Chris on again in the future. And then we'll talk to you soon. Well, for all you future real estate investors, I think you people are the best.